Welcome back to Elon After Hours. Our first guest is a professor here at Elon. He teaches the Laughter in the Fine Arts course, and he's going to talk to us about the research he did for Surf Date. Please welcome Professor Tucker.
Hey. Hey, Joe.
Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
All right. So I remember in class last week you had mentioned that you were doing something for Surf Date. I thought it was only students at first, but there are professors that do that as well?
Yeah, so they have a few professors come, and they try to get a wide variety of professors that come and do something about their research. Mm-hmm. So I actually had a poster up, even though it's not really that common in my area to have posters.
Okay, so Zombieland is your
right.
topic.
Yep, and we watched that in class.
Yes.
Yeah, so if people aren't familiar with the movie, it's a horror comedy movie. It starts off with this character, Jesse Eisenberg. The character's name is Columbus. We only know the characters by where they're from or where they're going. He talks about how he survives this zombie apocalypse by his rules. He keeps this strict set of rules. And at the beginning of the movie, you sort of see the rules illustrated.
Yeah.
So there's this fat guy running away from the zombies, and the zombies catch him. By the end, it looks like mud at Sheridan. And so the rule is cardio.
Yeah.
You have to be.
You gotta be fast.
Yeah, you gotta be fast.
Zombies, yeah.
And so, but we laugh at the guy, because Jesse Eisenberg's character says, "Poor fat bastard." And the first part of the movie is a lot of laughing at characters that are being eaten by these zombies. And that actually happens to match up with Freud's ideas about how humor is something that we do as a defense mechanism, to feel safe and to feel secure and to feel like, oh, that's happening to somebody else, but not to me.
But not, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the whole first part of the movie has a lot of these, if you live by these rules, bad stuff happens to them, but not to you.
Okay.
And so it's a lot about, keeping emotional distance. So one of the rules is travel light. And that applies to, not having a lot of luggage. Because if you have to carry around a bunch of stuff, then
you're not going to be as
crap
fast.
can happen. That's right. But it also means avoiding emotional baggage. Like, don't connect with people, because you get connected, you get hurt.
Yeah, because they could die, and then,
and you put yourself in danger. Especially if you're, if you're slowing down to help somebody out, that could be fatal.
Yeah.
So a lot of the first part of the movie is about avoiding that emotional engagement. But the problem is, if the movie was just a whole bunch of laughing at zombies and fat people, although it's great, it would get pretty boring after a while.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that same character starts to try to emotionally connect with people. First it's the girl next door,
Right.
who turns out to be a zombie. And then it's these two girls that he's going to help out, who turn out to be scam artists. And so he really gets burnt these first few times that he tries to connect. But he really wants to. He still wants to connect with other people. And there's this woman named Brené Brown. She has this fabulous TED Talk called The Power of Vulnerability. And in her talk, she talks about how connecting with other people, taking emotional risks, making yourself available for others is really what makes life worthwhile. And it's risky and dangerous, but really that's the hub for creativity. It's the hub for innovation, that sort of risk-taking. And so the character keeps doing this, and it doesn't always work out, but he keeps at it. Well, by the end of the movie, the two characters, including Emma Stone's character, who's known just as Wichita, they're trapped up at the top of this ride at this Pacific Playland.
Pacific Playland, right.
The zombies are after them. And so Columbus has the choice. He can either just let them go and be safe, or he can take another risk and try to help them out. Now, if it were just Freudian humor, he would just say, poor trapped bastards, and then just let him go, and then he would just go on and be safe. But he doesn't. There's this zombie clown. Again, I think there was one at Sheridan on Sunday. But there's this zombie clown, and he has to confront the clown, and he defeats the clown, which in some ways could be symbolic of humor that's about distance, that's about avoiding emotional vulnerability. So he defeats this clown, he saves the girls. Wichita comes down, she hugs him. She reciprocates the risk that he had taken. And in the emotional climax of the movie, the best part of the movie, in my opinion, she says her real name, Krista.
Right, yeah.
And that's this moment where...
Because they're opening up to each other.
That's right,
yeah.
That's right. Where she becomes emotionally available to him, and she reciprocates the risk that he's taken. And so you see this real connection between them. And so the movie goes from this humor that's really distant and far away to this really connected, vulnerable humor.
Yeah. That's really cool. And then you mentioned something that was really interesting about how zombies have been, it's like a really like everything like zombie games, zombie movies that have all been coming out recently. And you mentioned something really interesting about that.
Yeah, so there's a theory about this, and the theory goes like this. During times when we have Republican presidents, vampires are big, right? Because it's all these horror movies about elite people who suck everybody's blood. Republicans, straight up Republicans, right? During Democratic presidencies and rule, then it's zombies because it's a whole bunch of like homeless people and poor people who are trying to kill all the rest of us.
It's very fascinating.
It's probably not true, but it's really interesting.
It's something
and
to
fun.
think about for
It
sure.
is.